What we're going to do today is upgrade my hot water heater in the fifth wheel from one. This is the older style that you have to come out here and light it, and it works fine. It's a 6-gallon. What we're going to do is upgrade it to this particular one here, which is a 10-gallon, but it also is electronically fired from inside. You just turn a switch, and it also has the 110 element, so that when we're hooked up to shore power, it will operate off of electricity. All right, so these are the switches. It's an Atwood. This is for the propane, and this will be for the 110. These are switches. This is an upgrade that I wanted to do, but if anybody remembers, if you've been following along, I built this original fifth wheel trailer out of a couple donor trailers, and so I knew that at one point in time I was going to upgrade different systems. This is one of the upgrades. I happen to have a third donor trailer that was the top of the line model that has severe water damage, so we pulled a lot of appliances and stuff out. One of the appliances that we pulled out was this hot water heater. The original hot water heater that I have in here is underneath here. And we have enough room to put in the other one. This one is 17.5 inches wide by 14 inches tall. The one we're putting in is 17.5 inches wide by 17 inches tall. So we've got to have to do a little modification. We got to cut a little bit bigger hole in the outside. But we should have plenty of room inside underneath this hot water heater here. If we have to, we can always move our water pump, which is down here, and this is an extra water pump that I carry with me, and so we should have plenty of room. We don't have any clearance issues with the fresh water tank, any of that stuff. So we'll start taking this one apart, and we'll follow along, and we'll show you how how I'm going to do it, and maybe something that you've been thinking about doing yourself, upgrading from a standard hot water heater to automatic fire and or an electric and propane one. Okay, we'll get going. All right, there's always going to be a certain amount of water that comes out of these. I use these pads. These are pads that are used to soak up water and oil. I just kind of put these underneath. You can use any kind of pad. Just not that this is going to be tons of water or anything, but this is just a little bit of insurance. All right. So the first thing we got to do is disconnect the water lines. These shouldn't be really tight because of the type of fitting that they are, but they don't leak too much. Alright, there's that little bit of water. I knew it was going to be there. No, actually it's not water. This is still antifreeze from winterizing the trailer. This is kind of hard to do one-handed. Just break that loose, and then I can unscrew that. There'll be obviously more water in this one, or antifreeze, because it's the lower of the two. this is the water bypass for when we winterize, and be just as easy to swap this over when we take it out and get outside. All right. We'll go on outside and unhook the outside and go from there. All right. Once you get out here, first thing you need to do is just unhook the propane line. Obviously, shut the propane off. And then you can, these clips here, very easily take these right off. Take the door off. Get that out of the way. These are reinforcement clips for the corner. Alright. Now this is just a matter of working, being careful. This is pretty sticky because it's less than a year old. Propane out of the way. Sometimes, or most of the time, this is easier done with two people. Because this cardboard is pretty puffy with insulation. There we go. And that's all there is to taking the hot water heater out. And as you can see, it probably took me 5 minutes. Literally, that's about all it will take. So now we got to clean this up. We're going to have to cut down here and here and add a little bit more room and redo our shelf for inside and go from there. Alright, we're going to install the bypass. Always use Teflon tape whenever you do this. Just cheap insurance. These particular ones on this part here, you don't need Teflon tape for. And you don't want to over tighten them. They have a plastic piece inside. Tighter is not necessarily better in these cases. Alright. These things here I'll have to adjust once I get it inside. So there's the bypass. This is the electrical for the 110 unit. Alright, so now we need to measure down and so that we can get our measurements here, or our opening cut. And 16. 16 inches there. Inches there. I apologize if we're getting wind noise there. We've got 15 to 20 mile an hour winds here today. So there's our, you allow the actual measurement of the box was 15 and a half, and so we need to go 16. You allow a half an inch of play to get it in, and there's more than enough room to get our screws in afterwards. So the way we're going to cut this out, making sure that we have lots of room. We're going to cut this metal out first. What I use for that is one of these tools here. Kind of short work of cutting a hole out. That particular tool, by the way, came from Harbor Freight. So it's not like it's an expensive tool. Pull our insulation out. Now we had pre-planned this, knowing that we were going to upgrade eventually. If you notice, there's already a piece here. So all we have to do is cut this out, take our box and redo the box, and we're ready to put that back in. Obviously, you probably won't have the luxury of having this piece already in here in whatever you're going to be doing. If you're upgrading the unit that you have. But sometimes the trailer manufacturers do this in anticipation of, depending upon which hot water heater is going to go in. So it is possible that you could find this in your trailer if you were doing this. We happen to know they're pretty standard dimensions, even today. From, I don't care, back in the 80s to today, most of these hot water heaters are pretty close to being the same dimension. These are an extremely handy tool to have. As you see, it cuts aluminum, cuts wood. I've cut nails with them. I've done a lot of things with them. Alright, now we'll clean up here a little bit. So, now we gotta bring our propane line out. All of this will get trimmed. So we'll get our propane line out there and get that hooked up. Alright, what I'm doing here now is, this is flushing. This is a tool made just for flushing the hot water heater. Just go in and turn it around. It's a high pressure, and it just kind of breaks up if there's anything in there, you know, hard water deposits, that kind of stuff. Just go in and out. Do that a few minutes. And that's that. Alright, we'll let that drain out. I've already hooked up the propane. And we're going to install the plug. Now this is a plastic plug. I always recommend, but we don't have one right here at the moment, to replace these with a brass plug. These have been known to blow out. And when they do, it's always at the most inopportune moment. Alright, well, we're going to fill the water system up for the first time this year so that we can fill up the hot water heater, and then we'll turn the propane on. I still have to at least temporarily wire the switch so that we can test the propane side of it and go from there. Alright, one thing that I didn't cover is I just turned the propane on. This is a soap and water solution. And you're just making sure, and we have a leak. And for some reason, we still have a leak. No. This thing may have to come apart. And be redone. And looks like we might have got it. Yeah. We did. We have it. So, with the safety part, we have our water hooked up to our city water. And we still have a slight tiny leak right there. So we'll redo that. We won't close things up. We can still test it. It's a small enough leak that it's not going to affect anything. So we will go inside and run some temporary wires, and we'll see if it kicks on. Alright, well, we've got the power supply panel pulled out so that we could get behind it and pull the wires into, and this trailer has a breaker for a, well, this one calls it a GE water heater, which is an option. So we're going to pick up this breaker and put the Atwood electric water heater into this circuit here. We've already did that. We also have to put 12 volt for the propane side for the automatic start. That's going to be this wire right here. It goes into here. We have to put a fuse into there, the appropriately sized fuse. So that's already done. We'll have to slide this back into this panel now, and all these wires come over into here. This is going to be the electric switch for the electric side, and the other one is going to be there. These are be inset so that as you walk by, you know, you really shouldn't brush up against them because they'll be inside of this panel. Then from there, it gets run over to these wires for the propane side, and to this side here for the electric. Pretty simple, just a matter of running the wires. If this is an upgrade that you're doing and you don't feel comfortable with doing this on the electric side, and you know, you can always do the mechanical work and then take it to a qualified RV technician or an electrician that is comfortable doing this kind of work. Okay, well, I didn't bore you with all of the details of hooking up inside. It's pretty standard. Like I was saying before though, if you're not comfortable with hooking up electricity, get somebody to do the actual hookups onto it. I was saying before, this already had a water heater breaker, so we just hooked into that. We have extra outlets for the 12 volt side. This particular hot water heater takes no more than a 3 amp fuse, so we got that installed. This will be one of our upgrades eventually, is this older converter charger will have to be upgraded eventually. So we're all done. The water heater works as advertised. Right now it's on 110. This is the 12 volt. If you can hear that, it just kicked on and works the way she should. Gets good hot water, and so we're good to go. That's one upgrade that is finally done. Alright, as always, if you enjoy the videos, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and we'll catch you later.